What's up, A to Z Sports Live, and it is finally draft day. The 2024 NFL Draft is tonight, and we got a lot of coverage throughout the next, 12 hours? Because, Sam, I believe in 12 hours from right now, the Titans' 7th overall pick will be on the clock, and we'll find out maybe what they're going to do with the 7th overall pick, whether they stick and pick, whether they trade back, and what the results of that can be. So we're here to do a dueling mock draft live. We're going to do 2 mock draft scenarios. One of them we will stick and pick with 7 and beyond 38 and maybe beyond 106 and maybe beyond past that. And then the other mock draft, we will trade back and see what different scenarios can look like for the Titans with this NFL draft ahead of the big NFL draft weekend with the first round tonight. So we're going to go through that. I have, because this is the last time that I will talk about the NFL draft before Monday, as I will be out for the weekend with a family wedding. But I have my official plan, Sam, for the 7th overall pick. We'll do the dueling mock drafts, and then I will tell you my official plan after that. So we're going to have a great show. The Magic Bucket likely to end the show. The Magic Bucket is still across the room in my office closet, so I'll have to go grab that strategically at one point at my convenience. So, Sam, welcome in. Got a big day. Buckle up. Let's get ready to go here.
It's draft day. We made it. We are finally here. It's going to be a really fun day, top to bottom, starting this morning off on a hot streak here because we're jumping straight into the fire. Back-to-back mock drafts, like you said, going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you are sharing that fun, getting other people involved this morning. So share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button. It's as easy as that. If you're watching on YouTube, take the YouTube link, send it to a friend. Tell them, hey, get in here. We're live mock draft, and you have a say in today's mock draft. So share the show that way. And make sure that we are spreading the word. It's going to be a great, awesome show here on a Thursday morning with A to Z Sports. Let's go.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, our Titans reporter for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you guys, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. So see them there. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 locations across the mid-state. They are online at KrebsKubota.com. So, Sam, there's been a lot of action over the last less than 24 hours. I guess it was, Tuesday morning? Maybe it was even Monday morning when Zach and I got into a battle about him saying there's no way that J.C. Latham would be a top 10 pick. And I'm like, I don't think there's no way. And then all of a sudden, guess who seems to be catching a lot of steam to potentially be a top 10 pick? That could be Alabama tackle J.C. Latham. But before we dive into our mock draft simulation, Sam, I'll let you, check the temperature, check the wind. What have you been feeling over the last 24 to 48 hours of draft week heading into draft day here on this Thursday?
Feeling as in about the Titans, feeling as in my life, going about my business here. What do we mean feeling?
What is the checking the temperature, checking the wind blowing? How are you feeling overall about this situation here with the Titans?
Well, I think overall my feelings towards this draft, I think we're going to be surprised, and not in the way that I think most people are predicting. This draft almost feels like we have over-predicted movement and big, shocking moves. Like there have been rumors, the Giants could trade out. The Giants could take a quarterback. The Chargers could trade out. The Chargers could, stick and pick. The Cardinals might look at trading out. The Patriots might trade out. They might not take a quarterback. Like a lot of rumors about what could or could not happen. I think it's going to be a little bit more calm than I suppose we have heard.
Okay.
I think that will surprise some people. I think the way that the offensive tackles are going in this draft is going to surprise some people as well. I'm not sure the mainstream belief of like, all right, it's Joe Alt, then everybody else is necessarily held by every team in the league. And I think that makes for a really fun, interesting draft, because I think as soon as that second pick is read, which I expect to be Jaden Daniels, there's a lot that could happen. I think the Patriots are going to pick a quarterback. I think the Chargers might not even have a trade partner, so they might be stuck picking. But are they taking who everybody thinks? I don't know. So this is going to be filled with surprises. I think a lot less movement and trades than people want to believe in the top 10, though.
Interesting. You did say something interesting that you thought after that second pick, you think is really when stuff might hit the fan. I believe the Bears, Caleb Williams at 1, Jaden Daniels to the Commanders at 2. And then at that point, Sam, you, Jack, and Lucas Panzica will be going live on all of our streaming platforms right here that you're watching on for our Titans Draft Special. We're excited about this with you guys having this live reaction show to figure out what might happen with the third pick and then all the way through 7 with a bunch of reaction after the Titans make a decision with the 7th overall pick. So I'm excited, Sam. We had a meeting yesterday. Again, I'll be out for a family wedding all weekend long starting today. And so you guys have the keys to the company when it comes to our Titans draft show. And I know we've recruited Lucas Panzica, Buck's partner over there at 104.5 The Zone, and excited about what you, him, and Jack will be able to do here. And so that's around 7:20 tonight is when you three plan to go live to react to picks 3 through 6 before the Titans are on the clock at 7. So that's where I think stuff will get weird.
Yeah, let me do a little plug here too, because I shared yesterday very briefly that I had an idea that I wanted to make happen for this draft show, and I have made it happen. We are going to make it happen. Austin, the thing that I hate the most about today's NFL draft and our culture in sports media now is the fact that the draft is spoiled every year by Twitter. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, NFL insiders, even I've seen Shams Charania, an NBA insider, get involved in the action before too. They're coming with tweets spoiling every pick before it's announced on the television. And growing up, one of my favorite things about the NFL draft is that feeling of waiting for the name to come out of the commissioner's mouth. And if you're sitting there and you're a Malik Neighbors super fan and you want him on the Titans, when the commissioner says the New York Giants select, you're just sitting there saying, don't say Malik, don't say Malik, don't say Malik. And it's a very, very thrilling few seconds. I don't know if everybody else feels that way. That's always how I felt as a fan watching. Well, we are going to simulate that tonight. We are going to give you that back. I will be spoiled. I will have the notifications on my phone coming through in real time as fast as possible. Jack and Lucas will not know anything. They will not look at the chat. They will be as blind as possible, like they are watching the draft. And when a pick comes into my phone, draft chime plays. I will announce the pick just like the commissioner. Jack, Lucas, and all of you at home watching are going to be able to react to the pick in real time before it actually comes out of my mouth. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get a raw reaction from everybody. I think that's a cool little feature. It's not just like, oh, okay, so now we're seeing that, so-and-so just came off the draft board. No, we are going to try and do a little production, make it feel like your very own NFL draft announcement.
That's right. We will have that. And Stephen Wood says, better turn off the comments then. Yeah, that's the plan. Jack and Lucas to not have the comments available to them. Nothing against you guys. It's more about just them having that organic reaction. Karen asks, all right, Sam and Jack, where's Zach going to be? Zach is wheels up this morning to Detroit to be there with our social manager, Jake Evans, to get a bunch of different social media content throughout the entire NFL draft for our A to Z Sports team. So we've got all hands on deck. And speaking of all hands on deck.
I have one more thing. Yeah, well, I got 2 comments here. Top tier said, just watch the draft, man. Tank says, I'd rather just watch the draft. Listen, you can watch the draft, but pull out your laptop, put the A to Z Sports Show, because
Yeah.
what the draft is not providing you is context on what every single move and every single pick means for the Titans. They're going to say, oh, here comes, this prospect who ran a 4.4 at the combine and is big, and here's his player comp and stuff. We will have all of that, and we'll have breakdowns from our guy, James Foster, that give deep dives into every prospect. But if Joe Alt comes off the board at number 5, we are going to be taking the Tennessee Titans angle for where they can then pivot. So that's the difference between watching the draft and watching A to Z Sports. Have it on in the background, absolutely. Make sure you're watching the commissioner, bringing the names up as well, but make sure you're tuning in for our analysis and reactions.
Yeah, wherever you may be. If you're at the Titans party at Nissan Stadium, great. Pull us up on your phone. Wherever you might be at work, pull it up. I'll probably be pulling up the show at a rehearsal dinner tonight for when all that happens. But we will have a great show. Somebody's asking, who's Lucas? A new A to Z member? Lucas is a member of 104.5 The Zone, our great partners there. He's Buck Rising's teammate on their radio show on The Zone, and we recruited Lucas for a couple of nights here to have great draft reaction with Sam and with Jack. And without further ado, it is now time for our mock draft simulations. But hey, it is draft weekend, but let's not forget, just 2 weekends away is Mother's Day weekend. And you don't want to fumble that, like the Titans don't want to fumble the 7th overall pick in the first round of this draft. And don't fumble on Mother's Day by checking out A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa, the ultimate Mother's Day gift. You see it right there. You can do a little, you can go lavish, you can do whatever you want to do to make sure that the mom in your life, whether it's your mother, your grandmother, an aunt, the mother figure that you believe in, maybe it's your spouse who's the mother to your kids, dog moms, cat moms, whoever it is, the mom in your life deserves to be treated right on Mother's Day weekend. And amomentspeace.com/mom is where to go for a gift card to let her choose how she uses her A Moment's Peace gift card right there, whether it's mani-pedi combo, facials in the salon, massages. They've got it all. I love getting a massage, a couple's massage a few times a year with A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. They're fantastic. They can do it all right there at amomentspeace.com/mom to win this Mother's Day weekend, just 2 weeks away. So don't screw that up. All right, Sam, the Titans draft picks here that we have. If you want to go ahead and get your mock draft simulator ready to share this, to pull on the screen, the Titans currently have these 7 selections in the NFL draft, 7 and 38 on rounds 1 and 2, then waiting until Saturday with pick 106, 146, 182, and then twice in the 7th round, 242 and 252. So, Sam, let's get this thing fired up. We're going to go 2 dueling mocks here with the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator. So I'll let you pull that thing up, and we will get it going right here with our first mock draft simulation. So, Sam, our rules here that we're going to do is we're going to do 2 of these mock draft simulations. One of them we're going to stick and pick at 7. The other we're going to trade back. I'm going to say we get to choose which one we want to do when the Titans are on the clock at 7. Depending on how these first 6 picks go, maybe depending on the trade offers we might have on the board for 7. So we get to decide at 7 if we want this one to be our stick and pick or if we want this one to be our trade back. So we're excited about this.
Yeah, can I ask for a little clarification here, just so that we establish this with the chat off the bat? I don't care either way, but we should establish, this is going to be you and me and our opinion as combined with kind of what we're getting from the chat, and we're going to be doing this live. Is this going to be what we want and what we would do, or what we think the Titans would do in the given situation?
Look, I think we always have to believe that we need to do what we think the Titans will do. That is very important with mock drafts. What do we think the Titans would realistically do? Now, we can add our own opinions onto it, but I think it's always through the Titans lens of the decisions that we're trying to predict between Rand Carthon, Chad Brinker, Anthony Robinson, Brian Callahan, and everybody else in this collaborative effort. So the Titans are doing a collaborative effort all offseason. We are doing a collaborative effort in this draft. So it'll be my opinion on the pick, Sam's opinion on the pick, and the chat's collective opinion to figure out what we're going to do. So maybe a YouTube poll. We'll have to see how quickly that can be turned around. I'll give that a shot.
And that doesn't include Facebook, and we want everybody to get involved. So we'll see. All right. Here's the provisions here. So we are obviously going to be operating as the Tennessee Titans. We will start slow and do 7 rounds. I can pick this up and kind of whip through it late. Late rounds, we're going to have to kind of fly by a little bit, and we'll see if we actually feel like we need to get through 7 rounds, Austin, or if we want to, get through the first 3 or 4 picks and then run it back. Depends on time. We are going to be using the public board because the PFF board is based off of a lot of PFF grades. The public board is more of a consensus. I think we do less randomness, as little randomness as possible. I like where these other two are at, with some care for positional value and some care for need. So maybe like this a little bit. So I think this is a good spot. We can go slow. We can enter the draft.
Okay.
And here we go. I'm trying to see if I can. All right. Yeah. So I can move up here.
There we
go.
If
we need to pause at any point, we can pause. I'll pause and we can look at potentially offering a trade. So here we go. Number 1, Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. Number 2, Jaden Daniels. Those are how I feel like these first couple of picks are going to go. This is the point, like you mentioned, Austin, that we go live, because this is where stuff could kind of hit the fan here a little bit. All right.
Weird.
Number 3, big move. Drake May is the third quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes. I think this is probably where we see things going tonight, Austin. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, this feels normal. As normal as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
So let's keep it rolling.
These are the 2 picks that I think everybody's on edge for in real time. See if they're where they go. It is Neighbors to the Chargers, McCarthy to the Giants. So here is the best available.
All right.
Joe Alt.
Yep.
Rome Odunze, Brock Bowers, and then kind of your next second-tier tackles here. And 26 teams interested in potentially trading up.
26?
Yes.
26 trade offers.
Not offers. So the way that this one is going to work is that you will get teams that are interested, and these are interested in pick 7. You can select a team. So let's say we wanted to look at trading back with the Vikings, and we could select 7 for 11 and 23. And it'll tell you this trade will not be accepted, right? So it'll give you a chance, give you your percentage chance of getting that trade accepted. Like 11 and 129 for 7 likely will be accepted. And so you can do that for every team with interest.
Okay. So, all right. So we're taking the chat into a consideration. I have my opinion on this particular spot. And I think where, we have 2 mocks we're going to be doing today. One of them stick and pick, one of them trade back. In my opinion, because 4 quarterbacks have gone in the top 6 picks, I think this is a stick and pick scenario for the Tennessee Titans. That's what I see. I see others in the chat saying trade back.
Yeah, I don't see who's trading up here, because nobody's coming to get a quarterback. There isn't a quarterback on the board that's going to go 7. So there hasn't been an offensive lineman drafted. If you're trading back, you're probably looking at trading back to a team that's coming up to get an offensive tackle. I also agree with you. I think sorry?
That you also want the offensive
right.
tackle.
But the question again, what would the Titans do in this spot? I
have my
everybody pick in the chat right now. Just put, what would the Titans do in this spot? Again, here are the best available players. 4 quarterbacks are off the board. You might not have a trade down partner. And T-Dub says alt. Pistol Ramsey says alt. Timmy says Rome. Just go ahead and take alt here. Maybe a Dunze. Alt is the pick. Let's see. We got alt.
Yeah,
That's
this
overwhelming from the chat in
Yeah.
Austin. I agree.
Yeah, I think we have to go Joe Alt here. So let's do Joe Alt. Just lock him in as the 7th pick overall with this situation of 4 quarterbacks going and 2 wide receivers before the Titans are on the clock. So we go with Joe Alt, and now we can. I don't know if you want to speed this thing up.
I can speed it up just a little bit. So Turner goes. Adunze goes to the Bears. Olu Fashanu will go. Bowers, Mitchell, Fuaga, Latham, Arnold, Verse, Fautanu, Murphy. Let's see. We can pause after Brian Thomas Jr. and just get a quick update on the top play. Oh, nope. How do I
think you can keep it going. I think
all right, I was just trying to look at the top players available, but I don't think we're going to let me do that. All right. Thomas Jr., Mims, Latu, Nix, Guyton, DeJean, Robinson, Wiggins, Mitchell, the other Robinson, Worthy, Kool-Aid, Jerzon Newton. So there's your first round.
Okay.
This makes I don't think there's really a huge surprise in this first round. But what do we notice about this, Austin? Did anything stick out like that could potentially be a factor here at 38?
I mean, there's been like no trades, has there?
No real trades, which I don't know how much they simulate like trades of teams that are not the user-owned team.
Right.
I think first thing I notice here when I look at Titans at 38, Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson, Johnny Newton, all at the end of the first round there. It feels like a lot. And then obviously Byron Murphy earlier. A lot of defensive line went in that first round with 4 of them going. So we'll see how that potentially plays a factor. And none of those, I would say, right, like Amarius Mims and like Amarius Mims right here is a tackle at 21 goes. Guyton is the other guy. No,
Bo Nix did go at 23.
Bo Nix did go. Penix would still be on the board. And then maybe like none of the real like surprise tackles snuck into the first round. So let's see how it plays out here in front of the Titans in round 2.
All right. Here we got it back down to slow. So Powers Johnson.
There goes Ladd McConkey. There goes Jordan Morgan. There goes Kingsley Swamataya, a couple of targets.
That's okay.
And then Peyton Wilson goes right in front of the Titans. So here we are. I guess let's look at some of the positional needs. The wide receivers on the board, you have a lot of them to pick from. Pearsall, Roman Wilson, Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin. Offensive linemen, if you're still looking to go double tackle, it's kind of a significant drop off there. You've got Patrick Paul sitting down here. Defensive line and edge, Adisa Isaac is available. Defensive interior, you've got a Braden Fisk. Is it Fisk? Is it just Fisk? What's that E doing there?
It's silent.
So we've got some wide receiver options like we saw. We also have 13 teams interested in a potential trade. Reminder, there's still a quarterback sitting out there.
Yeah.
With Michael Penix Jr.
I think we stick and pick. I think let's look at the wide receivers. I think that's probably our best options for value. Troy Franklin, they have him very high.
I almost disagree here. I think the Titans, if there's a quarterback at 38, this is an interesting spot to potentially trade back and see if you can grab a 3rd rounder.
All right. What do the trades look like?
We can just kind of look. So which one of these teams do we think would come and get a quarterback of these teams right here? Do we think the Raiders, well, I guess who took one in the first round? Not the Raiders, right? The Giants took the 4th.
And then the Vikings have a quarterback. So you're thinking Rams. Raiders.
I think the Falcons don't need one anymore. The Raiders at 44 coming up to get Michael Penix Jr. is interesting to me. Would 44 and 77 for 38 be a deal? It's got a 6% chance to get accepted.
Yeah. You can check the Rams if they're interested.
You could also maybe do it for 112 and throw in 106. Now we've
Wow.
got a 24% chance to be accepted. You move back 6 spots in the 4th, but you try and get back into the 3rd round. They come up 6 spots and potentially get their quarterback. Should we check this?
No. Click. I mean, you can try it if you want to.
What are you trying to
If you want to offer it, you can try, but
offer?
I don't think it's going to get accepted.
It has been accepted.
Okay, so I don't think that would have been accepted but anyway, still
You go
solid.
back, and I mean, this is
a
strategy that's you like.
let's resume it.
Titans Cal says no chance you add 106. Well, you add 106 with the idea of adding 112. So you go back in rounds 2 and in rounds 4 to get into the 3rd round here.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you slide back 6 spots in the
and
second and the 4th.
I'm gonna assume the Raiders are gonna take a quarterback here. Hopefully,
let's hit the resume and
on point with that.
Speed this thing up.
Now it is Michael Penix Jr. that they trade up for. And the only wide receiver, Leggett goes and Jalen Polk goes. You get a couple of tackles and a cornerback in Ennis Rakestraw, but we are still sitting here. This would be awesome for the Titans because look at these wide receivers still on the board.
I think in this group, Ricky Pearsall is my guy. If between Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Roman Wilson, and Ricky Pearsall, I think Ricky Pearsall is my guy.
Yeah, he has been your guy. I don't know. I don't love Ricky Pearsall, but we'll see what the chat thinks. Chat, I think we're gonna settle in here. Austin, would you agree? I mean, this feels like a wide receiver spot here in the 2nd round. So, which one of these wide receivers would the Titans take in this spot? My money, I'd take Roman Wilson over Ricky Pearsall. I think they're kind of similar, and I like Wilson a little bit more. And it feels like we are somewhat split here. We got a lot of Keon Coleman in the chat.
See, I don't think the Titans would take Troy Franklin or Coleman.
Franklin maybe. Coleman does not feel like a scheme fit for me.
Coleman would be a Vrabel era pick. Big body, kind of guy, right?
Or
Troy Franklin's like 170 pounds soaking wet.
Allow me to throw this idea out there as well. Did T'Vondre Sweat come off the board? He did not.
No, he's so low. So I think this is.
I don't think he'll go that low.
I think this is wide receiver, and I think it's between Roman Wilson and Ricky Pearsall. I like Ricky Pearsall. I think he is the more polished guy. I think he's got a lot of upside. I know you want to improve his play strength, but I like Ricky Pearsall here.
All right. Well, do you want to go with Ricky Pearsall? Is that what we're going to do? Do we go tackle again?
No, I think you go wide receiver here because the drop off now is going to be significant.
All right. Well, let's go with your guy then. Let's go ahead and roll here. Let's take Ricky Pearsall at 44.
Yep.
Which is right where he's about ranked to go. The Titans get their wide receiver. Franklin, Sainristil, Melton, Lassiter, Frazier, and we can slightly speed this up here as these players are going before the Titans. We're now into that 3rd round where the Titans are coming up here at 77. So here's some of the names that just kind of went off the board. Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker, just went, which is a name that, a lot of Titans fans like. Marshawn Nealand, Malachi Corley, and then some of these tackles and Jalen Wright. So Junior Colson would have been a nice little inside linebacker there in the 3rd round, but he doesn't quite make it to you. Position-wise, what are you thinking here, Austin, just off the bat?
I'm thinking edge, D-line, and inside linebacker are probably the 3 to peek at.
So let me float this idea out too, because I do agree with Bork here a little bit. Blake Fisher is a guy who made my draft wish list. You see him right at the top there. He was Notre Dame's right tackle. You have Notre Dame's left tackle. Both of these guys worked with Joe Rudolph, who worked with
I don't hate it.
who worked with Bill Callahan in the past. So there is a possibility there to get a plug and play kind of starting right tackle, and you can fill both of those spots. So I think Blake Fisher here is a big possibility. I've seen the chat asking for it, so I would have to say T'Vondre Sweat here is another possibility.
You have pick 112 though.
But like realistically, I don't know if I think T'Vondre Sweat is going to be there at 112. I think that's
you have a man crush on T'Vondre
I think
Sweat.
This 122 ranking is crazy because before
let's
the other
stay
issues,
on. All right, let's look at some edge players. Let's pull up edge players here too, because we know that's a need.
All right,
you're about to hit that dry spot of edge players, and you're kind of already in it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, both of these, I think the two guys that stick out to me here are Jalix Hunt and Austin Booker, two real plus athletes. Jalix Hunt did make my wish list for the Titans. I think the third round is early for him. Both of them are more of a project to me that have a ton of crazy athleticism to potentially rush the passer, but need to add a little bit of, in Hunt's case, add a little bit of weight. And in Booker's case, get a little bit more disciplined against the run. Braylon Trice is slightly interesting, but both of those guys are probably your top edges. And then you suggested inside linebacker.
Yeah, I'm just curious at what that looks like. Because I think Trotter could be interesting here, but that's a little bit of a reach.
I mean, Cedric Gray is ranked higher than a lot of these guys on most draft boards. Maris Liufau was a fun guy to talk to at the combine, but I do think the fall off between Junior Colson to this next group is pretty significant, where you've missed on you've missed on
the top
two or three or whatever. Yeah. So Cedric Gray is legit, but I guess if we're doing the same principle that we used for T'Vondre Sweat, right? This 150 rank would lead us to believe we got a shot at Cedric Gray in round 4.
I like your idea of going booking Irish tackles.
Yeah, Connor says it's the most value here.
Yeah.
And David says Fisher and then Sweat maybe. And so I would agree with this. I think, this is a hole that needs to be filled. This is an experienced right tackle. This is a former teammate of Joe Alt. This makes a lot of sense to me, and I want to make Blake Fisher a Tennessee Titan with the 77th pick.
Okay.
And we've done it. So Tez Walker, let's slow it down just a little bit here. McMillan goes. There's my draft crush here. Kyrie Jackson, Ray Davis. There's Jalix Hunt. There's Austin Booker back to back. Malik Washington, good wide receiver off the board. We are into round 4. Trotter. Dominic Puny. And the last few picks before the Titans, Jamari Thrash. And here we are. We can take another Wiley tight end if you want to do that.
No thanks.
Pick 112. So far, we have added Joe Alt, Ricky Pearsall, and Blake Fisher. We have added 2 tackles and a wide receiver. To me, you have to go defense. Can we do it?
Do you want to go get your guy T'Vondre Sweat?
I want to get my guy T'Vondre.
I was the tiebreaker. With Pearsall. You wanted Roman Mitchell. So
listen, with these linebackers are sitting here still. I don't think necessarily they're going anywhere anytime soon. I think you have to add either to edge or defensive line. These edge rushers, to me, none of these guys do anything for me.
All right, then get your guy T'Vondre Sweat.
Let's go ahead, and this is turning into one heck of a draft here. T'Vondre Sweat to the Tennessee Titans with pick 112.
All right. So, Sam, I think we've got 4 picks here. I think this is where we end this first mock simulation. I think we've got 4 picks. So we'll reset and get these 4 picks, and we'll talk about them briefly. We're going to do a second mock draft because we traded. We used our trade back. At 38, we'll see what happens with our next one with our dueling mock drafts. But just want to remind everybody that coming up tonight, we have the Titan Draft Special live, our first round reaction with Sam, Jack, and our friend Lucas Panzica we recruited from 104.5 The Zone. So we'll get those guys coming on live here at the top of the first round at 7:20 Central Time is when they'll go live. We'll get to our second mock draft simulation. But first, I want to tell everybody about our great friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans. Make sure you plan on them for health, dental, vision. To get a quote to help you save money and get better coverage with your health care, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ. Use that link. They'll help you out there on your team. They've been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years and have continued to double down, triple down on the investment across their community in the state of Tennessee. So for a quick and easy way to start your process to get a quote to save money and get better health coverage at the same time, head to our link at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
Today's show is powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. You can use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It's draft day. Hey, we know what day it is, so go ahead to BetMGM. They've got props on the NFL draft that you can add a little stakes while you are watching things go down. So BetMGM, use the bonus code ATOZ Sports up to $1,500 back if your first bet doesn't win. That's a second chance to win big with the king of sportsbooks.
All right, I'm going to reset us here because now we're going to get into our second mock draft simulation. And so these are the picks we're working with. We're starting over. We've got our first one. Our first mock draft simulation. We'll combine our first one and our second one afterwards and think which is the better scenario that we pulled off this morning. So, Sam, let's get this thing ready again. Yep. Let's go ahead and reset it. We've got our 4 picks from the first mock draft simulation.
Reminder, we went Alt, Pearsall, Fisher, Sweat. What a haul. If that, I don't think Devondre Sweat falls that far. I think he might go right at the beginning of like the second round. I don't know why PFF has tanked his ranking on here in the last week or so, but here we are. So Titans slow. Let's go ahead. We can set it for that 4-round mock this time.
Yeah. Do you want to move it? You want to make it a little more random than the last time? I think that'd be good.
You get some weird stuff, but the randomness.
Just slightly more random.
All right. We can go one tick more random. Don't blame me when the Bears pass on Caleb Williams at number 1. All right, here we go. Williams again.
Good.
Drake May, number 2. Daniels goes number 3. There's your 3 quarterbacks.
Still okay.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
Malik Neighbors at 5 once again.
Okay.
JJ McCarthy once again. So we are in the exact same spot, Austin.
I hate it. I hate the way these two things have worked out. There's nothing we can do about it.
Should we explore a trade down from 7 this time instead of trading or instead of just taking Joe Alt? Or do we just go with the same thing?
No, I think because of we want to view 2 different versions of this, right?
Or do we take Rome Odunze?
I think let's look at a trade back. Let's trade back. This is for the sake of exercise to see what different scenarios can be. So let's look at a trade back.
Nobody's coming up to get a quarterback here. So we have to figure who is going to trade up. It could be the Bears who are coming up to get Rome Odunze because we know they like the idea of a wide receiver. Here are the other teams that have interest. It could be, and I suggested this in one of my mock drafts, the New Orleans Saints at pick 14 do not have a tackle on their roster. And I think the idea of getting the offensive tackle 1 could be very interesting to the Saints in this spot. So that's another team. If we look, I don't know. The only problem with trading with the Bears is they have 4 picks in the entire draft, and they've taken one of them already at number 1 overall. I don't know how much they're not going to necessarily give up 75 in a trade to go up 2 spots if it means they only get to pick 3 times in the entire draft.
What if they give up 122?
Again, 9 and 122 for 7? That seems like you're not getting great value. Yeah. You can probably do 75 and 9 for 7. just on value alone, you can do that. But again, the question here is, would the Bears do this? Because 3 picks in the entire draft, if you're the Bears, is ugly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I understand. So I think, I've changed my mind. I think we need to stick and pick. We did our fun trade at 38. I think with this situation, what we believe is that the Titans would take Joe Alt in this spot. So I think we need to
do believe that. So as much as it stinks, and this is why, Austin, Jim Wyatt asked me for my prediction. Jim Wyatt said, Sam, who do you have the Titans picking? And I wanted to find a reason to not give him Joe Alt. And chat's not happy with us for sticking.
What about Neighbors? I'm sorry. What about Adunze here instead?
I think we could do a Dunze here.
Let's do a Dunze and switch it up. Let's do a Dunze, and then we can figure out what the Titans situation looks like at 38.
Stick and pick, and you're coming. I mean, this is similar to like a Neighbors situation, right? It's the idea of stick and pick, and you come away from the first round with a wide receiver. What do you then do in the second round? I think that would be good to simulate. But what I was saying, right, I tried to think of a reason to not give Joe Alt. I think I ran too many of the scenarios that came back this way, where Alt was far more likely to be available for the Titans at 7 than somebody like Neighbors is. And it's hard if 4 quarterbacks go to not see Alt being where the Titans go. But let's go Rome Odunze. Just for the exercise of it. And then we can kind of
speed that up a bit.
Falcons take Alt.
And I think we need to pick at 38. I do not think we should trade. I think we need to pick at 38 so we can get a look at what happens if they only have 7, 38, and 106.
So we're looking at tackles here, and Mims probably just went off the board. Guyton went off the board. Let's see if one of those tackles sneaks into the first round here, or if it's kind of the same crop. Looks like it's the same group. Powers Johnson, there's Jordan Morgan, McConkey again, Kingsley. That feels like the same exact group of guys that went in the second round in front of
it does. All right, so let's look at the tackles right here. We just went with Rome Odunze at 7, so this really feels like you got to go tackle Patrick Paul at 101. Holy crap.
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know why they dropped some of these rankings around.
That seems very strange to me. Kingsley just went off the board.
This is a tough spot. I mean, if you're going to take the wide receiver, I think you're hoping that like a Jordan Morgan hangs around in the top of the second round. What are we thinking?
I have a hard time actually thinking that Patrick Paul is the 101st ranked player.
I would take him over most of those tackles on the board. So
right. And so now Roger Rosengarten is a good player too, but he seems very late. What's the big board look like? This seems very strange.
Here's the overall big board. Troy Franklin is still out there.
Zach Frazier is a center.
Yeah, Mike Sainer still at cornerback. Adisa Isaac is an interesting edge.
I think Adisa Isaac is kind of the spot. I think, but honestly, I think
Chris Jenkins is interesting too. But are you comfortable not taking a tackle in the first 2 rounds? I don't know how you do that.
I think the Patrick Paul thing is like, I know we just talked about Sweat being at 122 overall on this PFF big board. Patrick Paul being 101 makes no sense to me. Sweat does. I think we have to go Patrick Paul here. I think the 101 ranking is absurd. I think Patrick Paul is a good pick at 38, and he has been ever since the Senior Bowl. So I think we say ignore the 101 next to his name. I don't believe it. I think we go Patrick Paul right here at 38 to be a left tackle for the Titans.
I'm in for that. I like Patrick Paul. So ignoring the ranking, look at that average draft position. It is
it's very
big discrepancy. Yeah. So Paul goes, Leggett, and then we've got, unfortunately, a very long break here before it is time for the Titans to be on the clock again. And this is, of course, the fear. This is the bad spot that you're in if you don't find a trade down partner, is you only get 2 players, and then you got to wait for all these names to come off the board before you get another chance to address a need.
Yeah. So I think looking at 106, you're looking at edge, you're looking at inside linebacker, I think is a spot, maybe a defensive back, but this is a tough, place to be here.
Top available, there's Cameron Kinchens, a safety out of Miami, who
Kalen Carson was brought in on a 30 visit, cornerback for us. So that's something to look at there too.
I also think, we've heard a lot about building the trenches, right? And, we have not added a defensive line, an edge yet. I just don't know. I don't know enough about a Brennan Jackson to necessarily be all in. You do have Tavondre Sweat still out there with this one.
We just did Sweat though.
Yeah.
I think in this spot for me, I think it's Kinchens or it's Carson.
I mean, I think the safety probably fits your needs a little bit more. At least in my opinion, Kinchens is sort of that free roaming safety that you could jump at. He looked very good at the Senior Bowl. I haven't had a chance to really dive into his tape too much, but he was a guy that I had circled during the Senior Bowl. People are saying Kamara is very good.
Kamara as an edge rusher. Go back to that edge rusher list to see where Kamara popped up.
Muhammad Kamara out of Colorado
that's
State.
Actually, honestly, I changed. Mo Kamara, I think at 106 in this spot is the pick. I think it's a better pick than Kitchens at safety.
All right,
I think
put it in the chat. Kinchens, Kamara, which one?
Kinchens or Kamara? Kinchens or Kamara? I see Just Smashes all over Kinchens. I see him in all caps. But I think the edge in this spot is the better value because you can go get Justin Simmons, Marcus May, or whoever to bridge the gap at safety. So I think you go Mo Kamara here.
Yep.
I love it. Mo Kamara.
I think that's what the chat's saying too. Let's go ahead and take Mo Kamara. And there is our 4th round. So that's going to be the last round of this draft. Kinchens went not too far after. Tavondre Sweat didn't go until 122. My goodness.
I'm telling you, man,
I'll be doing backflips if my Chicago Bears land Tavondre Sweat at 122. I'll tell you that much. So here was that second group. They didn't love our Patrick Paul pick, but that's,
that was expected.
They've got him undervalued. I think everybody would kind of agree with that here. I think he might go in the 1st round, to be honest. At least in the 2nd round, I like Patrick Paul to go. There was the 3 that you came away with. Austin, I think overall, right, the idea of the trade down helps a lot.
In the 2nd round.
In the 2nd round, the trade down helps a lot. Adding another pick, especially unfortunately, the board kind of fell the same way both times that we did this.
Top, right.
Up top and even at the end of the 1st round, it was Kingsley. It was the same dudes going in the same spots. So there's some variables there where you don't know who might be available. But if the board does fall that way where you're looking at the tackles at 38 and you're just unimpressed, even drafting somebody you could draft somebody like Adisa Isaac or whatever, but you probably can't come away from the first 2 rounds without a tackle. You would love to find a trade down partner.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick between which one we like most.
I think it's going to be a kind of
a
runaway.
Don't forget, we do have coming up tonight our Titans draft special with live at 7:20 Central Time with Sam, Jack, and Lucas Panzica. And by the way, King VC's in here. Like the show, we do not have nearly enough likes on today's show. A little bit different of a show, but we're slacking on Facebook when it comes to likes. So hit that like button. YouTube's doing much better when it comes to like button. King VC is vowing to give up his own money if we can hit a goal of 215 likes per platform. So make sure you hit that like button for sure on the show.
Austin.
And so Sam, real quick, before we get into this next thing here, I do want to make sure we pay the bills and do all the right things of hitting our sponsors and telling you guys all about our great friends at Krebs Kubota. KrebsKubota.com is where to go for all of your equipment needs, and they are who you should trust for your equipment provider. With 3 locations across the mid-state, Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. They're an elite Kubota dealer, meaning they have the best equipment and the best warranties on that equipment to either buy or rent that equipment, finance it the right way too. And then also, you can go back to them for the best customer service in the business with KrebsKubota.com. So check them out online at KrebsKubota.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. Easy enough. BetMGM.com. Up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet doesn't win. That's a second chance to win big. NFL draft season. Get in on the props. Get in with that bonus code and get in with the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM. Austin, if you want to go grab the magic bucket, I am going to address, again, talk to people about the draft special and then address a comment from the chat that was directed towards me. The draft special tonight, we are going live right after that number 2 overall pick from the Washington Commanders is announced. With Jack, with Lucas, myself, I will be playing commissioner. I will be, announcing the picks live on the show, reacting to it, taking a Titans angle with every name that comes off the board. And then there was a comment here that we can get to before we get to the magic bucket, because we did never truly address Daniel's question from yesterday, which was to me saying, Sam, would you move into the 20s in a trade with the Eagles or Packers while adding 2 second rounders? Austin, this is your draft dream that you had. Not your dream, but the literal dream.
The actual dream that I woke up one morning with. Yes.
And the answer to me is a big fat no.
Really?
I love the idea of 2 second rounders. Absolutely. There's so many opportunities there. I believe in the high end talent of this draft class, and every situation that you break it down, it feels like the Titans are going to have an opportunity to get a blue player. They are going to have a chance at getting a Joe Alt or a Malik Neighbors or a Rome Odunze, or trading back and still getting one of those top tier tackles. I don't like the tackles going in the 20s. I'm not a big Tyler Guyton, Amarius Mims
fan.
was
going to be my question.
They're really intriguing prospects, but they're prospects that are very raw and are not the blue player that I think you can plug and play right away. So for that reason, it scares me to go back that way. I'm not all that enthused about the idea of Adonai Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. I think there's a lot of volatility with both those guys where they could be really good or just not work out. I don't know. I like the idea of the high-end talent in this draft. At 7 with 4 quarterbacks potentially going early, you're in a unique spot. I would stay and pick or trade back not too far where you could still go grab Fashanu or Latham or one of those other tackles in a trade back scenario.
All right. So I actually disagree. It would not be my preference, and I'll get to my official Titans draft plan for the 7th overall pick, and you'll see where it would not be my preference. But I don't absolutely hate the idea of picking up 2 more second rounders, because I think the interesting thing about Daniel's question is both the Eagles and the Packers hold 2 second round picks. So let's just say you at least look at this idea. The Packers are at 25, the Eagles are at 22, and you talk about Guyton and Mims. I actually think if you're okay with drafting Patrick Paul at 38 and seeing him as a day 1 starter, then I think you should be okay with Mims or Guyton at 22 or 25.
But the difference to me there, right, is Patrick Paul with Malik Neighbors as a wide receiver. So you're getting the star wide receiver, and then you are rolling the dice on a bit of a project tackle. The reason I don't like this as much is because you're still getting what I view as a project tackle. Like if Patrick Paul was your 1st round pick, and you don't have that high-end wide receiver to benefit from. You just have a bunch of second rounders. It's the idea that you're completely missing on the high-end talent and not necessarily the players themselves.
No, I understand. And one, I also I don't know if you would get both the first round pick and 2 seconds for these two
Yeah,
teams going from 22 to 7 or 20. That's a big jump. But let's just say that Packers and Eagles want a corner. Packers need a lot of things. Let's say the Titans do this and now they've got 22 or 25, 38, and two other second
I
round
mean,
picks.
what are those picks?
I got them right here. So Philadelphia's 2 round picks are 50 and 53, right? So you'd have 38. And with Philadelphia's case, you'd have 22, 38, 50, and 53. With the Packers situation, you'd have 25, then you'd have 41 to go along with 38, and their second round pick is 58. So you'd have a little bit of difference there. So you go 25, 38, 41, 58.
I will say, and credit to Daniel for this idea on this trade. The trade chart does work here. And I see a lot of these trades get proposed, and you just look at the trade charts, which are not, the end all be all, but teams do use trade value charts. And it's just so skewed and lopsided. I looked real quick. The first one I pulled up from drafttech.com, Austin, the Titans pick at 7 is valued at $1,500. So that would be the value that is going to Philadelphia or to Green Bay. The Eagles' first round pick at 22 is worth $780. So you have $780 plus pick 50 is worth $400. That's $1,180 plus pick 53 is worth $370. So you're at $1,550 there compared to $1,500 for the Titans. I think the Packers number comes out really similar. This trade chart, it could work. I don't know if that, this is a deal to keep an eye on. I just don't know if it's if it hits all the needs. Like you said, though, you are then coming away with, you have to really gamble on your assessment of day 2 players and blue players, right? Like maybe it's you're coming away with Patrick Paul and Guyton and Ricky Pearsall
or Roman Mitchell and
a linebacker or an edge, right?
What about this? Let's just say let's just use the Eagles, for example, because I think that's the more reported trade-up team. Let's say you go with the Eagles. So at 22, you take Amarius Mims, the right tackle from Georgia. I know there's PTSD involved. At 38, let's just say you go, I don't know, Xavier Legette or one of those wide receivers at 38, right? Then let's say you come back around at 50 and you can get Patrick Paul to be your left tackle. And then at 53, you can go get Adisa Isaacs if he's still available.
He probably won't be, but maybe that's a spot where you can go inside linebacker, and it's a second round pick, but it's your 4th pick of the draft, and you can go grab Junior Colson. Man,
that's a good haul.
Interesting. I think I'm coming back a little bit towards the mean. I don't know if I hate it necessarily, because that is an intriguing opportunity. 4 picks in the first 2 rounds is interesting. I just think you might look back at the high-end talent and be like, wow, we had a chance to get an elite player and missed it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get over that.
That's fine. All right, Sam, this is the last time that I will be able to talk about the NFL draft before it happens, because I am going to be out family wedding tonight. Family rehearsal dinner tonight with the wedding tomorrow night. So you will be in the driver's seat, in my typical seat for the NFL Draft Live show, along with Jack Gentry and Lucas Panzica from 104.5 The Zone. So I have my official 4-step plan for the Titans' 7th overall pick. So I'm going to share that in a second. But first, please tell us all about our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute is the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust, and you don't want to fumble on your recovery. You won't with the Bone and Joint Institute. They're located out in Franklin with a state-of-the-art rehab facility to assist in your recovery with everything all under one roof, from clinic to rehab to surgery to imaging to testing. It's all there. No driving all over the place for different appointments. Not a problem with the Bone and Joint Institute. Like I said, right off the highway in Franklin, great doctors, great care. Schedule an appointment at boneandjointtn.org.
All right, it's time for BetMGM, and you guys know you can get the best first bet offer on the market with our bonus code ATOZ Sports. That's up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. So you can go big with it because if you miss, no sweat on that one. I actually did place 2 bets yesterday for Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors to be the 7th overall pick in the draft. That would return quite a good bit of money.
Yeah, the odds on those receivers is crazy.
Yes. Yeah, so I did that on BetMGM yesterday. So you can check out all the different things this season, whether it's playoffs, on the ice or the hardwood, Major League Baseball all summer long, and of course the draft, getting ready for this upcoming NFL season. But sign up with our code ATOZ Sports for up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only, new customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and eligible requirements. First online room money wager. Only rewards issued non bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. If you probably game this work, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Okay, Sam, my official 4-step draft plan for the Titans at 7. What's up, brother?
Number 1.
Sorry.
I was just doing number 1, but yes. Also, what's up, brother?
Okay. So yes, number 1, and it's actually 1A in my 4-step plan. And actually, I had a buddy text me last night, like, all right, how are we feeling about this? He's a big Titans fan. He's like, what? All right, let's get it out here. And I responded to him, not meaning to do this, but I was like, oh, that's exactly how I feel. It's been like 5 months in the making, and I just concisely put it in a text to my buddy last night. So 1A, if he's available, Malik Neighbors, easy. Malik Neighbors is 1A.
Love it.
1B is Joe Alt if Malik Neighbors is not available. So that is my 1A, 1B. Malik Neighbors over Joe Alt. I'm so thrilled with either of those picks at the 7th overall. My next, so I go 1A, 1B. So this is step 3. So you have to skip 2. But number 3, trade back. But not like my dream. No later than the 14th overall pick. Because I do think that going further than that, you're missing out on some blue players. We just talked about the Eagles' possibility of doing that. And I don't hate it, but this is my preference. Trade back no later than 14 because the Indianapolis Colts are at 15. That'll come up later. So, number 3, trade back, but no later than the 14th pick. If you don't get a trade offer, that brings me to my 4th step, and that is Roma Dunze if he's available. I don't think that there's really anything else besides that. If Malik Neighbors isn't available, I think Joe Alt's available. If neither of those are available, I think you can probably trade back because there's probably a 4th quarterback still sitting there because Marvin Harrison Jr. is also gone. That's the math, right?
Well, yes, but there are also talks that certain teams would not trade up for certain quarterbacks, which is why that 3rd overall pick matters. Like, for instance, the Vikings probably would trade up for Drake May. Who knows if they would do so for J.J. McCarthy, especially when they might not have incentive to because the teams right in front of them are not necessarily taking a quarterback. I think there is another option, and Austin, I sign off. I'm signing off. You're not done.
I have an asterisk, right? Because 1A, Malik Neighbors, 1B, Joe Alt, 3, trade back, but no later than 14, and 4, Roma Dunze if you cannot get out of there, and Alt and Neighbors are not available. So then I have 3 players listed for options to pick if you trade back into that no later than 14, and it is J.C. Latham, Olu Fashanu, and Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is on my trade back list. Why I say no later than 14 is because the Colts are at 15, who I think could take him if he's available. So that is my 4-step plan. 1A, Malik Neighbors. 1B, Joe Alt. 3, trade back no later than 14. Roma Dunze is my 4th option. And J.C. Latham, Olu Fashanu, Brock Bowers are the 3 trade back options.
Well, listen, I'm signing off on it. We know my feelings about Malik Neighbors. I'm a big Neighbors guy. He's my preferred option as well. I think Joe Alt's a good option. I do think there's another solution that you didn't necessarily equate for, and one that you're probably not crazy about, and I'm not crazy about, and probably most Titans fans are not crazy about, which is taking offensive tackle 2 at 7.
It's my worst case scenario.
Pulling the trigger on a
JC
Latham, pulling the trigger on Olu Fashanu or somebody at 7 without getting the benefit of trading back and the weapons there. And look, if you like those prospects, and I do kind of like both of those prospects in their own ways for what they are, it's not a bad spot to be in. And ultimately, I think that's what we need to say here, is that like the Titans are in a good spot to add a player that's really going to help them, which is a positive. But when you think about the options of the Joe Alts or the Malik Neighbors or all the assets that you can add in a trade back, that feels like as underwhelming as kind of like as it gets is JC Latham at 7 or Olu Fashanu at 7. It just doesn't have a lot of punch that would get me excited for this draft class, quite like some of those other options would.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So King VC, remember, lock in, like the show. It's draft day. Let's go. Get those likes up. Facebook is really far behind today. YouTube doing better than Facebook. So we need more likes on the show. And I do see another super chat from our guy, Andre. He says, Austin, does your family know what you do and plan a wedding on draft weekend? Skip it. We got your back, brother. Like I get it. The jokes have been happening for a while now, but how about this? Because, you take lemons and you turn them into lemonade. Zach and I are growing this company, and I think this is important. This is like the third year that Zach is not on the draft show because he is at the draft in Detroit doing social coverage there, like he has done for Kansas City, like he did with Las Vegas 3 years ago. So for me, this is a big step for me to hand something over because it's going to have to happen at some point. And so I appreciate the opportunity that my brother has given me by making me take my hands off of one of my project babies that is the live draft show and say, you know what? Sam can crush this because Sam's going to crush this. And so is Jack. And Lucas is a great draft pick that we've rented for the weekend. And so, this is a great opportunity for me to grow as a person, to hand something over to somebody who's going to nail it. They're going to have a killer draft show tonight without me. And that's a good thing. So that is what I will say, Andre, to your super chat there. I appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, I plan on killing it. I plan on crushing it. It's going to be a really fun show. The draft show always has like this really fun energy of like everybody's kind of like feeling extra impassioned and fired up and angry about things and ready to debate. And so, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm sure Lucas and Jack are going to bring it as well. It's going to be fun. We'll miss not having you there to drive it and just kind of like let me fly off the handle, but I'll keep it locked in and hold down the fort.
There you go. Eric says, don't worry, Austin. We'll keep an eye on Sam for you. I appreciate that.
I'm sure they will.
Eric Castillo, it is your job to not let Sam
you're babysitting Sam.
Yes, there you go. All right. So great show. We are still yet to wrap it up because we've got the magic bucket to send us into the draft day. So let's get it going. A shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying experience. Help them or let them help you save money on that new ride by seeing what they have to offer in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. I did have a chance to run over and grab the magic bucket. So Sam, since you typically don't do the magic bucket.
It's been a minute since I was magic bucketed.
I'll pull for you first. Let's see here. It's a very full one. You'll have to do this next week because I don't think you just happen to have these on hand. But next week, Sam, you're going to have to wear elf ears on the show.
Oh, that's tough. I do not have elf ears on me, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a tough one. That one's
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know where I'm gonna get elf ears, but we'll
Amazon.
Mhm.
Sweet. I will help you out with some elf ears after the show today.
There you
All
go.
right, this one's for me. What's the most embarrassing fashion trend you used to rock?
Ooh, that's interesting.
So, two come to my mind. One of them was like 5th grade. The other was like the, high school era. 5th grade, and I don't know if this would be probably in now,
Okay.
but I used to wear like to elementary school. I used to like wear nice like crew neck sweaters for a stretch.
Oh, that's awesome.
But in 2001 or whatever year it was different.
I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily like that wasn't in style. I just think I don't know. I think there's an age thing with this. Like I don't know. There's a level of like I think you go through and you're like sweater. That's so lame. Like I would wearing a sweater. If a kid wore a sweater to school, you were like, why is he wearing a sweater?
Yeah,
And then
but it was like
you hit an age where you're just like, you look nice in that sweater today, and I feel like looking nice today, and it just feels nice to wear a sweater.
Yeah. The other one was, this is a good one from Jake. I was a part of this too because of the era that it was, but the all white K-Swiss shoes.
I don't know what those are.
Of course you don't.
But
that is
K-Swiss shoe.
That was late 90s, early 2000s, the all white K-Swisses. Yes, that was absolutely something.
No idea.
And I did participate in that as well. Jared says Austin had the white coral necklace. No, I am.
You weren't a puka shell guy?
No, you know who was though? The other Austin of A to Z. Austin Huff. Big puka shell necklace.
Yeah. Easy.
I knew Huff growing up. But no, my other one, the cargo shorts were just so unnecessary. And, mid to late 2000s cargo shorts, like where you've got the big pockets on the side. Like,
they're unnecessary now, but like.
I know. That's like, and so it's like, whenever I stopped wearing cargo shorts, I was like, okay, good. Nobody needs that many things in their pockets. Like I'm not out here on a construction job site where that might be necessary to put things in all different types of, loose equipment. I'm not trying to keep coin change in my cargo short pockets, but cargo shorts. Yeah.
I'm enjoying the chat. Yanksy says, but where else would you carry all your gear? I need those 10 pockets. And Orlando says those are still in style. And certainly function over form, but like who's carrying that much stuff on them? It's a digital world. You don't even need a wallet anymore if you don't want one.
Right. So, so that if you didn't wear cargo shorts for some period of time, and if you're my age range, then, you're probably lying. But yeah, that is my fashion trends that I, if I see an old picture, I'm like, God, the shorts are terrible. Like just so baggy.
I don't know if this is considered a fashion trend, but I think my biggest one would have to be like I would just call it the Justin Bieber hair. The Justin Bieber
the bangs.
Hair, like the long bangs that like, and I've got like wavy hair, so they would even like curl in the front a little bit. Like when I was little, that was like a thing. All the cool kids had the long bangs. And
if you had the curly bangs, but you wore like the backwards fitted hat to where the bangs curled up in front of it. Yeah, that was the thing in like 2003.
Yeah, it wasn't even an emo thing here. Jared says I was an emo kid. Like that was just like,
and Justin it wasn't Bieber. Made it. And look, it wasn't Bieber. It was.
I think it was.
No. I just mentioned it was the thing in like 2003, 2004. That was pre-Bieber.
Really?
So yeah, absolutely. Justin Bieber did not start that. He just made it more mainstream, I guess.
I think
Because
he made it cool though. Like I think before in 0304, it was a bit of like emo, whatever. It was
No,
the
it
punk
wasn't
rock
emo.
vibe.
It was not. It was like normal to have the longer blondish light brown bangs, but Bieber came in and made it even more popular. Like, like Travis Kelce was still really popular, but Taylor Swift did a different level of popular.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar scales, if that
I
makes
also
sense.
did this one, spike in the front, which was a weird thing that happened for a while that you don't see too often nowadays.
Yeah.
Just like
One
a
thing I
straight
never did.
spike.
One thing I never did was the frosted tips because I saw that in the chat. Never did the frosted
Did not,
tips.
yeah, no.
So I didn't have to. I've got light hair anyway. But anyway, that is it for us. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on. We have the Titans draft special live tonight with Sam, Jack, and Lucas. I do want to give a shout out to our great sponsors for tonight's shows and Friday night's shows, and that is our great friends at Prince's Hot Chicken, the original hot chicken of Nashville, and Holiday World and Splash and Safari. It's about that time for family vacations this summer. So it's just a quick trip north, a couple hours north of Nashville to go find out their brand new roller coasters. They have a great water park with Splash and Safari. So check them out at holidayworld.com there too. Make sure you hit that like button because that's it for me for this draft weekend. Sam and Jack, have you covered the rest of the way? They'll be live tonight and tomorrow morning and then Friday night to take you all the way through the weekend. So check us out there. Make sure you're ready. 7:20 p.m. Eastern tonight. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great draft weekend. Appreciate it as always.